I had a lady on Etsy ask me to make a Bible cover with a zipper and handles. Her name's Marsha, and I'm so thankful. This should be very exciting. She says, "Good morning, I have a question for you. Are you able to make this Bible cover with a zipper and handles?" And so I told her, of course, let me give it a try. She said her mother-in-law made it for her years ago. She was a teenager and that she loved it. And so I like when people ask me things to challenge me and just allow me to make something beautiful for them that was so special for them. Now I get to create something that's very special for their Bible or their book or journal as well. I have some of this beautiful antique fabric, so I'm going to use some of this. I have some lining fabric, this pretty pink rose color, and then I also have some scraps of this. Let's get right into it and see if we can make something awesome, which I know we can, so let's do it. So first I'm going to start with measuring the Bible that I have. I'm always making things for a She Reads Truth Bible because that's what I have. I have my Bible on the back table, but I also bought one the other day just so I can have an extra one to just use as a demo Bible to make things for. I like to start off by measuring the Bible or book or notebook or whatever it is that you want to make it for. So to start, I took the length and the width measurements and added 2 inches to them. So the 6.5 by 9 inches, I just added 2 inches to both, which is 8.5 by 11. And then I took my measuring tape and measured all the way around the front of the Bible. But since I added those 2 inches to each length and width measurement, the circumference of the entire panel that I'm going to cut out is 39 inches, which is the entire gusset for the front and back panel. And then after getting that measurement, I'm going to subtract 4 inches because that's about how long I want the section that's going to be right along the spine of the Bible to where there will be no zipper. So I'm going to subtract 4 from the 39, and then that's 35 inches. But you still have your seam allowance, so you have to add about 1 inch back if you're sewing the gusset with a 1/2 inch seam. And since my Bible is 2 inches deep, I'm going to cut 2 strips that's going to go along each side of the zipper, 2 inches by 36 inches. And then that's going to make the zipper gusset pieces. So that's my thought process and how I come up with the measurements. But to make it easy for you guys, I left it on the screen so that way all you have to do is just cut out the measurements and get started. So after getting the measurements, I went ahead and cut out all the pieces first. So the 2 front and back panels, and the 2 zipper gusset strips, and then also the piece that's going to go in the one little 4x4 inch piece that's going to hold the zipper gusset together. And then after that, we can go ahead and cut out all the lining pieces, and then we'll be ready to start sewing. So I grabbed some zipper. As you guys know, I use zipper by the yard, and I just get the zipper from Amazon. I think it's a number 5 zipper, and it's just the metallic gold with the ivory zipper tape. And then I cut the cotton webbing for the strap. I cut out fusible fleece to iron on the back sides of all the lining pieces. So here's where I decided to add 2 sleeves on the left and right side of the inside front and back panels. So I'm going to cut out 2 pieces that is 10 by 11, and I'm just going to fold it in half, add some one layer of fusible fleece in between, and then just sew down the folded edge with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then that's going to become the sleeves that are going to be on the inside of the front and back panels, where the front and back covers of your book or Bible can slide into. And then afterwards, I'm going to take it over to my iron and just iron the fusible fleece in between both layers. Make sure it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and sew down the folded side with about 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then I grabbed both of the lining pieces for the main front and back panel, and I placed the 2 little sleeves that I just sewed right on top of them, left about 2 inches from the edge, and just made sure everything was nice and even, and then pinned it all in place. And then I grabbed the main outer panels and then placed the lining on the back side of it with the wrong sides facing each other. And then I also pinned all of those layers together. And I sewed around all 4 sides just to kind of tack everything in place, really close to the edge. And then once more, I sewed all the way around the other panel as well, sewing all the layers together right along the edge with about 1/8 inch seam allowance. Now you can add your bag tag or your logo wherever you like to. I added mine right on that little small piece that's going to hold the zipper gusset together on the back side, but you could have added it to the front panels before you sewed everything together if that's where you wanted to go. And now I'm going to add the lace. So I took the lace and just folded the cut edges back towards me a couple times. And then I sewed really close to the fold where I folded the lace over a couple times, just to tack the edge in place so that way there would be no raw edges on the lace showing. And then I used some clips to just clip the lace all the way around the front and back panels. I started the lace right along the bottom. I started going around right where the handles will be on the top portion of the little case, but you can start it on the bottom where the spine is on the long side, so that way the overlapping part will be on the bottom. And once I go all the way around with the lace, I just kind of go over about 2 inches over the part where I started, and then just fold it back again, sew it along the fold, and then just clip it in place right over the piece of lace where I started. So I'm just doing that again on the other panel. I'm going to start by folding it back, sewing it, and then clipping it down, and then I'm going to go all the way around until I get to where I started, and then I'm going to overlap it maybe about 2 inches, and then fold it back, sew it along the fold, and then place a clip in it, right attaching it where I started. And then I'm going to sew all the way around, attaching the lace to both of the panels. The front and back panels are almost done. I will go ahead and add the straps now. So I'm going to add the straps along the long side on the opposite of where the sleeve starts. I let about 1/2 inch of the cotton webbing hang over the edge, and then I just clipped it in place. So I made sure the straps were about 2 inches from each end. And then I sewed across both of them using about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. I just went back and forth a couple times since this is where you're going to carry it. So I just wanted to make sure this part was extra secure. And then from here, I just trimmed off the excess strap that was hanging over. And now it's time to work on the zipper gusset. So I grabbed all the zipper gusset pieces, the lining pieces, the outer fabric pieces, the zipper, and the lining and the outer piece that's cut out in the little 4x4 inch square. So to start with, I grabbed the zipper and the lining strip and place the zipper right side up over the lining, and then place the outer fabric, sandwiching the zipper in between. The outer fabric should be face down over the zipper, and then I just use some clips to clip everything in place. And now I'm just gonna fold the layers back and stick some pins in it, and then top stitch. And then I'm going to place the zipper again right over the other lining piece with the lining facing up, the zipper facing up also, and the outer fabric facing down, sandwiching the zipper in between. I'm going to use some clips and clip all of that in place, and then sew with the zipper foot or with this little narrow hinge foot that I have on here already. And then fold the layers back, use some pins to hold the layers in place, and then I'm going to top stitch. Now I'm going to take the pins out and go over to my ironing board and give this gusset piece a nice pressing. So I grabbed the little 4x4 inch piece, the outer layer first, and placed it right over the outer of the zipper gusset. And then I grabbed the lining piece and placed it underneath on the back side with the wrong side of the zipper gusset facing the right side of the lining piece, and just sandwich the zipper gusset in between. And then after that, this part is a little tricky because you have to do the same thing on the opposite side of the zipper gusset. So you kind of have to manipulate the zipper gusset and the fabric in a way that's gonna allow you to sandwich the other side in with the zipper in between, with the outer fabric facing the outer fabric and the lining fabric facing the back side of the zipper gusset. And once you get it in place, hurry up and grab some pins or some clips to just hurry up and hold it in place so nothing moves, to where the outer layer of that little small piece is on the outside and the lining is on the inside. And then I just sewed across it using 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And then I just top stitched along the seam on both sides of that little 4x4" piece. After that, I just went ahead and grabbed my scissors and I just snipped out the center and folded it in half. So what I did was I lined up the seam right along where the little back 4x4" piece is, and then just snip the sides to find the center, and then line those pieces up, and then snip the other two sides out to find the center. And then after that, I marked the center of all 4 sides of the front and back panels. Alrighty guys, we're almost to the end. So after that, I just turned the gusset to where the lining is on the outside, and I just made sure that the front panel or the back panel, whichever one you start with, is just facing you. And I just lined up the gusset on all the center marks. I cut out some little small snips right along the corners of the gusset so that way I could spread the fabric easily. And then I just used some clips and I clipped everything in place going all the way around. And to cover the raw edges on the inside, I just used some of that same lining fabric and I cut 2-inch strips long enough to go all the way around the raw edges on the inside of the bag. But 2 inches wide by however long it takes for you to get around the raw edges of the inside of the bag, which should be somewhere over 36 inches. I just fold the edge back about 1/4 of an inch, and then I just clip it all the way around until I get to the other side, overlap it a little bit, and then sew all of that together all the way around. I used 1/4 of an inch seam allowance to go all the way around. And then I grabbed my fabric scissors and I just cut off some of the excess seam. After that, I'm just gonna fold that piece of bias tape or fabric back and then just fold it over the raw edges twice. And then use some clips to hold everything in place and go all the way around folding it over. And then after everything is nice and neatly folded over, I'm gonna just sew right inside the little ditch area on the opposite side and sew all the way around, attaching that little fabric, covering up the raw edges. Then grab the other panel and do the exact same thing all over again. And for the very last step, to make the straps a little bit more narrow, what I did was I folded the straps in half. You can leave them wide, or if you want to make them narrow, I just folded them in half and then clipped them in place and then just sewed using about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance all the way around the straps. You can actually do this before you attach the straps. I just decided to make them thinner when I was almost finished, but you can do it before you attach the straps and that will make it a whole lot easier. And just like that, our cute little book cover, Bible cover, journal holder, notebook holder, whatever you want it to be, it is finished and it's super cute. And one final little steam pressing. This new little Bible holder is super cute. It turned out amazing. I love it so much. She is just adorable. So thank you for watching.